It's interesting to note that the red list, the blue list, and the green list are already being implemented in the public schools. I remember before we pulled our daughters out a few years ago from the public schools, when I would go to pick up my daughters from school, they were each of them on a different list based on their class. And so the public schools are already using these lists, obviously, so that when they do, start this ramp up, when they are ready to go ahead and start grabbing the people, that they will be able to basically link based on color, based on the color code of the list. And there is different, each of the people that are taken in each list there's something different that's going to happen with them. Now, several years ago, and I'm really ashamed, well, I don't know, I'm ashamed in a sense, but several years ago, folks, it had to be at least 20 years ago. Had to be probably when the internet first started out, that I was searching the internet and I came across some information for Alice Bailey, or it was either her or Belaski, but it was, Manly P. Hall, and it was the Esoteric Society that believe, well, they're basically Antichrist. They're completely Antichrist. And they believe in the New Age. Well, very interesting, because back then, 20 years ago, there was information on the internet already about basically the implementation of the New World Order and really a depopulation. And they called it, a cleanse, that they were going to cleanse the earth. Now, what was interesting that I found, and I can't, this is what I'm ashamed about, is that I didn't record that information. I didn't take it serious, and I should have. But this is what they said. They said that when the rapture occurs, that they are going to tell the people on the earth, get this, that they have ascended, and those that were raptured were left behind. There is such a strong delusion coming. And if you know anybody that's involved in New Age right now, you know that they believe there is an ascension taking place. They believe there's a shift coming. They believe that there's a conscious shift that is taking place. Well, way back, the Esoteric Society, they were actually already teaching this, preparing for the rapture. Can you imagine? These are evil people. Why would somebody want to be against the God of heaven? Right? I mean, why? And yet the Bible tells us in the book of Revelation, they'll make war with the Lamb of God. So there are people on this earth right now that are so overtaken by evil that they believe that they are ascending into godhood, and that they have a right to rule over the masses, that they have been placed as guardians Can you imagine? They actually believe this. That they are the guardians. And that anybody that does not obey them, that they have the authority and they have the right to exterminate them. That this is their authority. They believe this, people. I shared with you how that all the elements of witchcraft are comprised from our military. All the elements are there. Every element is covered in the military. Now, folks, this is not something that is afar off. The red list, the blue list, and the green list has been a plan for a long time now. This is something that they are actually following. This is what they're going to do. I think recently when they put the colored dots on people's mailboxes, they were just trying to see where people were at, how they would respond. I'm telling you, folks, I don't know. I'd like to hear your comments on this because, I mean, when the public schools are already putting our children in these 3 colored codes, when you go pick up your children at school and they're in the color code already, I believe with all my heart you're going to see these color codes being used more and more. But the thing that astounded me out of everything that was said was that when the rapture occurs, that the population of the world is going to be told that those that were raptured, because people aren't going to, it's not this thing, people, I think people think that the world is going to see these people going up into heaven, going to see bodies going up in the air. No, that's not the way it's going to happen. They're going to disappear. That's how the rapture is going to occur. You're not going to see a bunch of people floating up into the sky. And when all these people disappear, I mean, you may have a pilot that's behind an airplane, piloting an airplane that is a born-again Christian that is taken. And that airplane doesn't have a pilot. Or whatever. A car driving down the road. Disappeared. That car has no driver anymore. It's on its own. It's going down the interstate. A tractor trailer. It's going to be chaos. But this is the point. That the world is going to be told that all those people that disappeared, they were left behind. They didn't advance. See, this is his lie. He's been working on this for a long time, people. All these people that are getting ready to go through the Great Tribulation are going to believe that they have ascended, that they have advanced, that there was a paradigm shift, that there was a shift, and that they advanced. But everybody else that wasn't able to advance was left behind. Now, there's going to be people on the earth that are left behind from the rapture that, basically going to be freaking out and are not going to submit themselves. I mean, we're talking about people that are going to be out of their minds because their loved ones just disappeared. Because it may be where a husband is not saved, but his wife is saved, or vice versa. And, Jesus said one will be taken, one will be left behind. It's going to be mass hysteria on the earth. And that's when this Antichrist is going to come along and convince the world that they advanced, that they were able to make it. But all those people that are going to resist and fight against this New Age thinking, this shift that's coming, this paradigm that's coming in the spiritual realm, are going to be considered enemies. They're going to be considered resistors. Now, there are going to be those that are going to be put in internment camps where they're going to be brainwashed, and if they will be willing, if they're able to reprogram these people, if they're able to get them to comply, then they'll be spared. But there will be those that will not go along with this. Now, folks, if what I'm sharing with you is true, then you need to understand that this really can't be implemented until after the rapture. Because it's after the rapture that they begin to tell the people that those people were left behind. That's when the color codes begin. You can't imagine what is going to happen on this earth when millions of people vanish. Can you imagine? You saw what happened at 9/11. How it affected our psyche, how it affected our thinking, how everybody was affected by just 2 twin towers being attacked and those people being sacrificed to Satan. Can you imagine when millions of people suddenly vanish from the earth? And again, those that are driving cars, tractor trailers, flying airplanes, whatever that they're doing, they're gone in their position. You talk about total chaos. That's what's coming, people. That's what's coming. Knowing these things, what are we doing? What are God's people doing? Are we getting ready? Are we preparing ourselves? Are we living holy? Are we living separated lives from this world? Are we coming out from among them and being separate? Knowing these things. Folks, over 20 years ago, I saw Blavatsky and J.P. Hall's doctrine. I saw it. They already, way back then, Blavatsky and Alice Bailey and J.P. Hall, and they already were planning to be able to re-educate the people on the earth after the rapture occurs. That's why I'm telling those that are listeners, I'm telling you, don't get alarmed. That's why I'm telling you not to be afraid. This thing with Jade Helm is just preparation. They're not going to do anything right now. They're preparing. This is all training for the final event. For what they call, and what Hitler was calling, the final solution. See, what you may not know is Hitler was working with the Esoteric Society. He was actually their puppet, so to speak. He was working with mysticism. He was working with the Esoteric Society. the philosophical